even if it's not, because Jaws makes it sound that way. But I will say this, the adaptive technology that's available today for the blind has really been a blessing to me, and I would have never learned it. I had such a fear of learning the technology and typing, and just my writing assistant became ill, and I knew if I were going to finish my manuscript, I had to learn, and I did. And I'm so grateful because it's been a real gift to me, and I believe God's used it to multiply my message and my ministry.
And He really has. He's given you a great ministry. You do conferences and all kinds of things, and yet so many people with handicaps do nothing.
Yeah.
When you are such a fine example of, come on, let's push through, let's do this thing.
You know, fear is a very valid feeling. And it's scary to be in a wheelchair. It's scary to be blind. It's scary to lose your husband and be a widow. It's scary. Fear is legitimate. But what I have learned is that unless I submit my fears to God, then I'm going to constantly be submitting to my fears. And what I elevate highly in my life is what's going to dominate me. And so I have, through the grace of God, learned to elevate faith more highly than fear. And your viewers can do the very same thing, because fear always betrays us. It never takes us to the places we want to go. It confines us and it creates chains. When God came, Jesus was sent to break those chains and to set us free, to no longer be dominated by fear, but to be dominated by faith. And so sometimes it's legit when we say, you know, I can't do that. Sometimes that is legitimate. But Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ. And that's what I choose to claim rather than my fears.
You know, the opposite of faith is fear. And just like faith attracts, so fear attracts.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we are fearful of things, and we're just bringing them into our lives because we're so fearful of them.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, when we come back, we're going to go for a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about her book. She just wrote a book, Fresh Ground Faith. And she's also the author of Self-Talk, Soul Talk.
That's right. Yeah.
And I've just enjoyed having you so many times. And I know that people have enjoyed you, even with your testimony, and how that you can just live with such a huge smile on your face when you really are dark inside, except for the pictures that you have painted in your mind. And we are going to talk more with her, because to me, she is an awesome, awesome witness of what we should be like. We should enjoy every single moment of our lives. And I challenge you with that. You can see every day, God, thank you for my eyesight. Thank you, I can hear, I can eat, I can taste, I can smell. Hey, we'll be right back.
Most people like to have a fresh cup of coffee, but how about a fresh devotion for your faith? Fresh Grounded Faith by acclaimed author Jennifer Rothschild gives you a chance to start your day right. Jennifer offers stimulating food for thought, dynamic scriptures, and questions to help discover what's really happening on the inside. Fresh Grounded Faith offers you fresh courage when you're afraid, grounded and stable thoughts, and powerful scriptures to increase your faith. Fresh Grounded Faith is available for this special offer of $13.99. Simply call 888-725-8033 or log on to our website, buythebook.tv. Request offer number 240. That's 888-725-8033. Or go to our website, buythebook.tv. Request offer number 240. Buy the book today. If you would like to receive your copy of today's edition of Buy the Book, please be sure to call 888-725-8033 and ask for today's offer number on the screen. DVDs are $14.95 plus shipping and handling and come with 4 total episodes per DVD. Order your DVD of Buy the Book today and call 888-725-8033.
Welcome back. We've been talking with my friend Jennifer Rothschild, who is blind, and yet she sees more clearly than the many, many people that we talk to. I want to just ask one more blind question.
Sure, sure.
Can you hear better since you're blind? Sometimes I heard that your hearing gets better.
Well, I think it does. I think it does improve. Now, listening is always optional, but my hearing, yes, I detect so many things, which, for my kids is not always so convenient for them. But when they were both very little, I pinned jingle bells on the back of their shirts, so I could know where they were, and keep up with them. Of course, my house is very childproof, but I did that so I could hear where they were. And Dorothy, I'm telling you, it was a perfect way to figure out your child's personality, because my first child, very cerebral and staid and cautious, and I would hear little intermittent jingles during the day, and he'd sit and play for an hour by himself. Well, then finally our second child came along, Connor, and I put jingle bells on him. It was like a sleigh ride from morning till night.
I have two like that.
Yeah.
The second one, he's like a Samson. You got to watch him. He'll pick up the cameras and take off with them.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk about this book. Why did you write this book?
Well, Fresh Grounded Faith, I wrote for two reasons. One, I wanted to just have girlfriend time with my reader, with another woman who, as if we were sitting at our favorite coffee shop together, this is what I would tell them. And so it's full of stories from my life, from the ordinary moments. Some of them are hilarious, some of them are painful, some of them are embarrassing, but it's just girlfriend chatter.
Yeah.
And it's what we would talk about over coffee. And then what I do is I give my friend, the reader, an opportunity to respond and say, well, okay, here's what's going on in me. So she can journal. Here's what's brewing in me, and here's what I need to spill the beans. Yeah, and I need to tell God some things, so here's what I need to spill the beans to God about. So that's the first reason I wrote it. But then also, I wrote it because it's a companion to some conferences that I do. Our ministry has a conference for women called Fresh Grounded Faith. And it is a gathering, region-wide event for women to come together, kingdom-minded, for them to come together and celebrate being real women who love a real God. And so this book is a response to that conference that God has used all over the country.
And it's made such a difference in so many people's lives.
It has. In fact, there is a story in Fresh Grounded Faith where I talk about meeting a woman at the end of one of my conferences, and I was signing books. And as she approached, I immediately picked up my pen and asked, what's your name, to go ahead and sign her book. And she said, well, don't sign it yet. I have to tell you something about my husband. And she was very emotional. And she said, my husband's name is Bruce. And I have followed your ministry because your spirit and Bruce's spirit are so similar. Because you see, Bruce became a quadriplegic as a 20-year-old man, and I have been married to him for so many years, and I've watched him, and I see his strength. And she's beginning to cry as she says this. And she said to me, people say to him over the years, oh, I bet you can't wait to get to heaven. Because when you get to heaven, you're going to be able to jump, and you're going to be able to run, and you're going to be able to dance. And she said, Bruce always was quiet when people would respond with that. He didn't really say anything, and I wondered why, until finally I heard him answer someone. When they gave that well-meaning, I bet you can't wait to get to heaven so you can run and jump, he said, actually, I can't wait to get to heaven because there I'll be able to kneel in gratefulness to God. And hearing that story at my conference from one woman named Jeannie, and being able to write that story as if I was sitting across the table with a friend telling my new friend about Jeannie, that story has so equipped me to walk with gratefulness, because you see, I can run, I can jump, I can lift my hands, and I can kneel. And I would love to have such a walk with God, faith that is so fresh, that is so grounded, that my deepest desire is not to be healed for my own comfort. But my deepest desire would be, like Bruce, to be healed because I am longing to kneel and express gratefulness to God. And I think that's what women will get from this book, Fresh Grounded Faith. They'll get an opportunity to encounter real thoughts, real feelings, real women, and most importantly, a real God.
The first chapter is called Beautiful Julie. What's that?
That was at another women's conference. I travel a lot, Dorothy, and speak. So it's a gift that I get to meet a lot of people, and Beautiful Julie was one of them.